Clauses and mood. In the most basic sentence, there's at least one noun or pronoun acting as a subject, and one verb, and maybe some kind of object. And in a basic sentence like this, the verb is in what's called the indicative mood. But sentences aren't usually that basic. What very often happens is that sentences are combined and embedded to say more meaningful things. Set this sentence aside for a moment and look at an example. Suppose we have another sentence with a subject, a verb, and an object. But maybe a simple object doesn't say exactly what we mean. We can replace that object with the full sentence that we just had. To do that, we convert the full sentence to an embedded, or what's known as a dependent clause. A dependent clause is a full sentence, but one that acts as part of another sentence. In this case, the clause will act as a noun, but clauses can also act as adjectives or adverbs. So we make some room, take the full sentence we had, and put it here. Of course, there's a little more to it. A clause has different kinds of verb forms in it. So here we have the main sentence with a subject and a verb, and as its object we have the embedded sentence with a subject and verb and object of its own. But to make this work in this case, the verb in the embedded clause changes to the infinitive with to. And here you can see how the clause acts as a noun and the object of the main verb, want. When the verb in the embedded clause changes form, it's said to change mode or mood. When the main verb is a verb like want, it changes to the infinitive form, which can be considered a mood. Other verbs in the main clause are followed by the word that, and then the dependent clause. In these cases, the verb form in the dependent clause is not the infinitive form. It might be the indicative form, or, depending on the verb in the main clause, it might be what's known as the subjunctive mood. Now, the term subjunctive in English grammar is mostly just a technical term, because the subjunctive form is almost always identical to the indicative form. In Spanish, on the other hand, the indicative mood of all verbs has one set of forms, while the subjunctive mood of all verbs has another set of forms. And this is true for all verb categories and all verb classes.